Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Buy rooms to go. Buy the piece, save a little. Buy the room, save a lot. And also by Racetrack, whatever gets you going. Still a little light rain falling, but we are set to start this ball game here right about on time in just a couple of minutes here at Truist Park between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. And the Mets winning yesterday 8-5. Interim manager Andy Green is going to roll back out a similar lineup here tonight, starting with Ewing, Lindor, and Bichette. And Luis Robert Jr., who did not start last night, will back clean up and play center field. Now missing from the lineup because there's a lefty on the mound for the Braves, Beatty, who hit the grand slam yesterday that was ultimately the difference. But that lefty on the mound, Martin Perez, is on a streak right now where he's thrown 12 scoreless innings.
Yeah, he's looked really good, and it's fun to see here for Martin. We talked about in the open how good he has been in this ballpark. Now there are the overall numbers for Martin Perez the last couple 10 innings, just a 1 hit allowed. Had some rain get in the way, unfortunately, of one of those outings, and he's been pretty good against the Mets in his career. 5-1 with a 3.55.
How about your Ford Keys, sir?
Southern hospitality. We do it often down here, and I think we've done it a little bit too much for these New York teams. The Braves are 5-9 against New York teams. No more hospitality. We're actually going to go in the other direction. And how the left was won. Now we know with Nolan McLean, he's really good. The lefties, and there's a bunch of them, of course, in the lineup tonight for the Braves, will have a little bit more of a chance against him. While he has been good, lefties with a 717 OPS and 10 of the 14 home runs have been hit by left-handed bats.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Martin Perez. Brought to you by Racetrack. Dumont out in left tonight. Harrison center. Yaz gets the start in right. Acuna is healthy and fine. He's just going to DH. Riley, Jarvis, Albies, and Olsen, and Drake Baldwin catching game 2 of the series.
The timing worked out to have Ronald DH. I don't know if it was intentional based on the weather, but think about some of the lower body issues that he has had. That turf will be a little bit damp here tonight, so it makes a lot of sense to have Yaz out there and have Ronald DH.
On and off rain for the last few hours here in the Atlanta area. Light shower now, but hoping that it moves out quickly and this ball game can get completed tonight close to on time. Martin Perez, last 2 starts, and one of them was shortened due to rain, but this is how the arsenal has looked.
Yeah, look how he's gotten all 27 of those outs using the sinker changeup combination in particular. Has just been so good for Martin. Both sides of the plate with both of those pitches. Doesn't matter if it's a lefty or a righty. You see one out there also recorded with a curveball.
Getting quite a bit of swing and miss over the last couple as well.
Yeah, that's something we don't really think about with Martin. He can get the strikeouts looking, right? We talked a lot about that, but the swing and miss rate has been up over those last 2 starts in the 10 innings.
They removed the tarp just before 7 o'clock. Got the field looking nice. Little light rain, but nothing that's going to stop baseball from being played right now. And away we go. Home plate umpire this evening is Jansen Visconti.
Been one of the best in baseball. Put him at the number 4 spot, ranked 4th of the 87 that have been behind the plate at least 10 times this year. Now he will get a little bit tighter, especially to left-handed hitters.
And a lefty up there right now in A.J. Ewing.
Martin has had some things thrown at him with the weather and cutting short a game. The line drive off the forearm, some bullpen to rotation, and he just continues to go about his business with no complaining.
And Walt Weiss has just been singing his praises from the moment that he got into that Braves uniform, not only as a player but as a leader. Falls behind here 3-1. Ewing at the plate yesterday on his 22nd birthday was 1 for 5 with a double. He also struck out 3 times. Rolls this on the carpet to Ozzie Albies. 1 away.
It took me a while to kind of draw this conclusion, but how do you have the last name Ewing and playing for a New York team and you're not number 33?
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity there for AJ.
And they share the same colors as the Knicks, too. But number 9 for AJ.
You blew it.
Now number 12, Francisco Lindor. We told you last night, but while he has had not the best year offensively, and he's also had some injuries, last 14 games, 5 homers, 13 driven in, and yesterday he had a homer and a double. So Lindor's been swinging a really good bat.
That home run he hit too was a big one that we saw here in this ballpark, and lots of power still left there for Francisco Lindor.
And he's going to reach here with a single.
Change up here from Martin, and it is off the plate away. Good looking pitch. That's just Lindor. Not only did he get to it, but he got some barrel on that for a pitch that wasn't in the strike zone.
And remember, for Perez, over the last 2 starts, 10 innings, just 1 hit given up. And he gives up a hit here in the first tonight to Lindor.
Got a pretty decent double play candidate here for Martin Perez, and there have been 14 of those hit into by Bo Bichette. Only Francisco Alvarez has more right now among the active Mets.
Another 3-1 count here for Perez. Mets have gotten hot all of a sudden since the deadline after the win last night. 6 of the last 7 they have won. But the big news in those victories is that they've been producing runs, which they have failed to do the majority of the season.
Starting pitching has been really good as well during that time, and Andy Green 19-20 now since he has taken over. I told you at the time I didn't love it just because he said he's not going to manage next year, but he's a good baseball man and he's done a good job.
Payoff pitch, ground ball, Ozzie to Jarvis to Olsen. CJ spoke it into existence, a 4-6-3 double play. Have a poncho tonight. Light rain still falling as we go to the bottom of the first. It's going to peak the lineup for the Atlanta Braves. Drake Baldwin is catching and leading it off. Acuna DHing, as we mentioned, and Matt Olson with the 34 homers and 72 driven in, batting third. And Nolan McLean, he's a rookie, 24 start of the season, and it's been a good season.
It certainly has been. 3.5 ERA. 3 starts in his career now against the Atlanta Braves, 2-0 with a 3.18 ERA.
A lot to like with this guy. Just turned 25 at the end of July. He gets Baldwin to ground to second for the first out. But high strikeout guy, top 10 in strikeouts. Let's see the defense behind him, brought to you by Racetrack, Ewing, Robert, and Binge. Saw Simeon make the play there at second, joined by Lindor up the middle. Bichette Arias gets the start at first base, and then Alvarez the catcher. But that curveball, when we showed you the batting average against it, CJ, it can be a pretty devastating pitch for McLean.
Nobody spins it more than Nolan McLean does. Again, better than 3,300 RPMs. Your league average curveball is going to be usually in the mid to high 2,000. So it is significantly sharper than most. But it's weird, too, when you look at his arsenal. And we told you two-seam fastball, curveball. When you kind of run some metrics on it and batting averages, two of the best in baseball as you take a look at the spin rate. But then his sweeper and his cutter, from a batting average standpoint, have been two of the worst in baseball, which is almost hard to imagine, at least among starting pitchers. So that two-seam fastball, curveball combination has been nasty. The sweeper and cutter, he's had some issues.
He's got Acuna 1-2. Again, we've seen a lot of that in these types of counts, specifically with Acuna, guys trying to elevate.
Yep. Since we're talking about right here with the two-seam fastball and the curveball, looking at the batting averages against, so you can kind of see it instead of having to listen to me say it. Very odd that the extremes there for Nolan McLean, but that fastball is live, and no doubt that he's going to challenge Acuna with it.
Playing up the middle, Simeon. He got Baldwin, and now he gets Acuna as Marcus Simeon. 2 down. CJ mentioned that McLean has had 3 starts against the Braves in his young career. And he's had Matt Olson's numbers. Olson 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts so far when facing this right-hander. Looks like he might be 0 for 9. That one bearing in on the hands. And it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. On to the second inning. So the top of the first ended with that 4-6-3 double play. That leads us to our Whataburger Whata play. Partner, now 40th double play that the Braves have turned since July 1. In that span, most in baseball.
Yeah, what's incredible about that is that the Braves pitchers have been really good. When you start looking at double plays in total, a lot of times it's teams that are struggling with pitching because there's a lot of runners on base, right? And so you have more opportunities to turn double plays. But in the case of the Atlanta Braves, it's been a team that has been pitching really well, and when those opportunities have popped up, they've been able to get the double plays.
Luis Robert Jr. is hitting cleanup tonight for the New York Mets.
You look at the top 10 teams of the most double plays turned this year. Only the Braves, who are 6th, and the Tigers have ERAs, so they're in the 3s as a team. Everybody else is well into the 4s, kind of to the point of having a lot of runners on base and a lot of opportunities.
Change up, little low, 2-2. Luis Robert Jr., first year with the Mets, entire 6-year career prior with the Chicago White Sox.
Which means him and Martin were teammates, right, briefly last year before Martin ended up missing a bunch of time.
This is hit a mile into the sky, the gray sky here tonight. Foul ground, Riley is able to squeeze it.
It always does kind of amaze me, that pop up right there and how high it was, that Austin Riley didn't like trip over the bag or stumble. He walked right over it. You and I would be on our face.
No, I know I would. Yeah, the catch probability for me on that would have been less than 1%. Austin makes it look easy. Sharp ground ball. How about Jarvis? How about Jimmy Baseball?
Martin Perez has seen a lot of good defense behind him over the years. When you get this kind of reaction from Martin, he is blown away by what he just saw there from Jimmy Jarvis, and that's going to be our car shield defensive play of the game as he goes full extension to his left and then throws a bullet over to Matt Olson. These jerks are challenging our car shield defensive play of the game. How dare they?
Maybe that Matt's foot wasn't on the bag.
That's what they're going for. He definitely didn't beat it.
Well, that's going to be a bummer if it's overturned, but it might be based on that last look. Yeah. Oh, it looks so good.
It looked so great. That was a great play. Dang it. Hopefully this doesn't take 8 minutes like it did yesterday in the first inning. And then the Blue Jays, they went 16 minutes. I was hoping for a little something here to make me feel better. Is there any chance the spike hit? There might be enough there to say, you know what, we can't say for sure.
If he was called safe on the field, they definitely couldn't change it. Yeah, you're only hoping now.
Oh, don't show that one.
That's the look the Mets like right there.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The first baseman's foot was off the base when he caught the ball. New York will retain their challenge.
How about a full explanation there, right? Not just overturned, but here's why.
So Carson Bench reaches, and Jarvis's full extension play that looks so beautiful, unfortunately, does not produce an out. And it is a hit for Bench.
Just another opportunity to get another double play. Marcus Semien has seen Martin Perez more than any other active New York Met right now. 11 for 41. A couple doubles, triple, and a homer.
And looking like it's going to be 11 for 42. 2 down.
What's maybe even more impressive, so 42 times that Martin faced Semien now, and he has never walked him.
He's had a few 3-ball counts tonight, but no walks yet for Perez in this ball game. Catcher Francisco Alvarez. Alvarez thought about challenging the previous pitch. He did not. That one definitely missed. 2-1.
Well, he missed one yesterday right behind the plate. So the idea that, you know, you get that you get a little shaken, I think, from when you miss one, and it makes you more tentative.
Two for 4 yesterday for Alvarez in game 1 of the series. And there's the first walk for Perez tonight. Talking about Perez, among active lefty pitchers, this is where he ranks. Our Comcast Business Defend the Mound feature.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive for Martin, the career that he has had. We think about some of the best in the game, and he maybe not always shows up in people's minds when they start to think about it, but very impressive with the starts, the innings, and the wins among all your active lefties, and there's some good ones out there.
Tonight is career start number 298 for Perez, so knocking on the door of 300. And he's facing another veteran here in the 33-year-old DH Jorge Polanco. Had him out in front. Good version of that changeup. 0-2. And he struck him out. And it's now 14 consecutive scoreless innings for Perez.
And he does it on the changeup, and he does it in 3 pitches. Well done here by Martin Perez against Polanco.
He's wearing his blue frost tonight. It's Paul Bird with our Kia Field Report.
I love it. I got to tell you this, Brandon. I don't like facing pitchers named Nolan, first of all. Nolan McLean is also very, very good. He's got 8 different pitches. You see the strikeouts. He's excellent. I talked to Ozzie Albies before the game. I said, what do you do when you approach a superstar like this? He said, Paul, you sell out. First of all, you sell out for the fastball, meaning it doesn't matter how many pitches he has. You're only looking for the fastball. The second thing is you sell out for a zone. So you either pick middle, you pick away, you pick in, and you adjust that. What you don't try to do is to hit everything. Now, he said if you look for breaking ball, you'll never hit the fastball. If you look for fastball, you have a chance to foul off the good stuff. I said, who's the toughest fastball you've seen all year? Is it Mizorowski? He said, no. Surprisingly, Yankees' Cam Schlittler, he said, was the toughest he has seen ever.
It was pretty unbelievable. Second hardest thrower in baseball, what we saw with those 11 strikeouts. But to Birdie's point, picking your time to sell out, even against a guy like Cam Schlittler, we saw Matt Olson do it in a 2-0 count, get it started early, and he ends up hitting the homer, the only run the Braves scored against him, but that was enough. And it's a good point. This is a tough one, right? You got to pick sides or you got to pick pitches because you're not going to be able to get to all of it when it's a power arm that does a lot of things well.
And again, 8th in baseball in strikeouts. He falls behind here 3-1, and he walks Michael Harris to start the bottom of the second.
All walks not created equal either. That was a pretty bad miss in a 3-1 count for a guy who generally does a good job. It's not an exceptional walk rate, but it's respectable.
And he misses again, arm side on a 2-seamer to Ozzie Albies. McClain did make 8 starts last year and was really good at 2.06 ERA, but he keeps his rookie status because he didn't go over the rookie threshold numbers. So that's why he still is technically a rookie here in 2026.
Was it 60 innings? I can't even remember.
I think it's
anymore.
50.
50?
Yeah, and he had just under that.
It's going to be competitive in the National League.
The Braves with the reigning National League Rookie of the Year in Drake Baldwin, but McClain, there's quite a few guys that can make a case on the NL side.
Did you ever see Best in Show? Remember the movie about the
dog show? Westminster Dog Show? No.
Oh.
Does someone have that mustache?
Harlan Pepper. You look it up.
Well, now I got to look it up.
Because he was goatee for a while, and he's gotten rid of the goatee, and now he's gone to the mustache only. And Harlan Pepper was a good character in that movie.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah. I'm pulling it up right now.
All in Pepper.
McClain has not always had that mustache. He grew it out this year. He told a funny story. I thought it looked really good in the mirror, and then I went back and watched some of my footage pitching. He's like, you know what? I don't know that it's that attractive, but it's working for me. And he said, I'm gonna stick with it. A couple of throws over there towards Harris.
So you find something that works, and if you get good results, of course, baseball players were dumb like that. We believe that's the reason why you're being successful. And that alone, listen, being successful in the big leagues actually makes you more attractive than what you're worried about, what you see in the mirror. So it all works together.
Going to need the OxyClean for Michael Harris after the game.
That's a big, he's gone.
He is. The throw. They got him. Perfect strike from Alvarez, and a pretty good pitch to throw on too.
Yeah, about as perfect as it gets, and it's a 2-1, or excuse me, 2-2 count at the time, and so they decide to go up and away with a fastball. And even though Michael looked like he had a big lead, the throw on the money.
Tried to get that right hand in there, but Lindor wasn't having any of it. Ozzie deep out to right center on the track and caught there by Binge. Who is the former college teammate of pitcher Nolan McClain. Those two guys were at Oklahoma State together. They were not only teammates, they were roommates, and now they play for the New York Mets together. And both were two-way players. Binge was a pitcher, and McClain was a very good hitter. 36 homers in his Oklahoma State career. Dubon lines this to left, diving attempt, and it is caught by Ewing. Wow. Well, you get a glimpse of the Mets' future with Binge in right and Ewing in left. That was a heck of a play.
It was. This ball was hit hard, 1-on-1. Looked like it was going to be extra bases, but A.J. Ewing, not wearing number 33, makes a really nice play out there in left.
Ball got on to the field out in left center. Dubon cleans that up before Gabriel Arias bats. Arias just second game with the Mets, made his Mets debut on Saturday after Cleveland designated him for assignment post deadline. And he hits a scorcher. Ozzie on a tough in-between hop makes a really nice play.
Some hard hit balls right up the middle, but we have seen the defense come through. It's the second one for Ozzie. We saw the other one that Jim Jarvis had a shot at and ultimately ended up getting overturned. But the gloves are showing up right now in the middle infield.
107 off the bat. That was not a cheapie. It's 7:46. Yesterday at this time we had one out in the top of the first.
I got to talk about old stuff. It's a bad memory.
It was quite an eventful ball game yesterday, and unfortunately the Braves on the short end of the stick. 8-5 Mets. But that long first inning, Beatty with a grand slam, and the Mets would hold on to that lead the rest of the way.
And congrats on your first career grand slam. You don't get to play tomorrow.
Yeah, now you're watching from the dugout tonight. But with a lefty on the mound, Beatty riding the pine.
He probably would have been their everyday third baseman had they not gone out and gotten Bo Bichette. It was a big part for Brett Beatty, and then there was speculation about whether or not he would ultimately end up being traded, but he stays put. They'll be an interesting team again this winter. There's just no getting around it for the New York Mets. When you have that high of a payroll, you have this bad of a season, there's a lot going on. We'll see if he decides to stay put. Bo Bichette, we talked about it last night, has an opt-out in each of the next 2 years of his deal.
Left center. Harris and Dubon track over, but this one is going to be for Mauricio. Take a look at the strong arm, brought to you by John Foy and Associates. See what the Braves have done at home this season, even with a loss yesterday, 39-21.
How about the series record too? 15-3 with the one split so far here at Truist, and the boys have put on a show in this ballpark.
Lindor singled back in the first. That homer yesterday for Lindor, number 290 of his career. He's up over 200 stolen bases. There's only 3 shortstops in Major League history that have had 200 in their career as shortstops. Jimmy Rollins and Derek Jeter. Some people might think of Alex Rodriguez, but a lot of his time coming over at third base or DH. He didn't have 200 as a shortstop specifically. Three balls and 2 strikes as this is fouled away. This is the homer we were referencing last night.
Yeah, it was a matter of would it stay fair, and clearly it did for Francisco Lindor. Nearly get up over the chop house onto the roof, but either way, that was a big one. That's a great pitch. So he went elevated four-seamer the previous pitch. Martin, if I'm not mistaken, his last couple starts, he has barely used his four-seam fastball at all. He comes back. I was thinking changeup, right? Speed him up. He goes to the two-seamer, front door, puts it in a perfect spot, and Lindor spoils it.
Home plate umpire Jansen Visconti giving Lindor some time to walk that off. Got him on the toe box.
And no four-seam fastballs in each of his last 2 starts over those 10 innings, and yet he throws one there to a really good hitter in Francisco Lindor.
And a two-seamer that misses just up and in.
They tried to repeat it. Mentioned how Lindor was able to foul off the previous two-seamer. This one, though, missing in and up.
Bo Bichette off the end of the bat. Ozzy's been busy tonight. Makes a play, 2-out walk, but no runs.
Score. The silver canister on the bench is attached to a cooling mitt. This is what Martin Perez uses to cool his hand and the rest of his body. It cools the peripheral nerves in the pitching hand or other hand, also calming the rest of the body down. Guys, I haven't seen it, but I think I speak for the entire Braves country when I say, Martin, whatever you're doing, keep on doing it.
I thought that was a pressure cooker or he was working on some rice. That's incredible. He actually used that when he was in Texas, and I saw it back then. I just thought it was because it was so hot, especially when they were at the old ballpark and they were outside. But as Bertie showed you there, it's his non-pitching hand that he puts it, right? So it's more about keeping your body cool, just like we used to wear the jackets. You don't see it nearly as much anymore. It wasn't about, it was more just body temperature. That was the big one, and trying to keep it in a certain spot. Pretty neat. And you can also throw a stew in there if you need to.
Yeah.
Just put it on low and slow, 8 hours. It'll be ready as soon as you get home.
A challenge.
Pitch was called a ball. Catcher's challenging.
I think this missed. It
Call is
did.
confirmed. New York has one challenge remaining.
Watching, I don't mean to laugh, but Alvarez last night, and this is pretty significant miss at 1.5 inches. He knew he missed the one before they even brought it up. Like he was chasing and he was not happy with himself. And it is fun watching the catcher's expressions when they know they messed it up. That split screen's a good time.
That's a strange one. It's very low leverage. It's a 3-0 pitch, and to start the inning, but the Braves will certainly take it. By the way, the cool mitt, retail price online $995 if you're in the market. So
I think I'll just get in front of a fan.
There's one on eBay going for $500 though.
Gently used.
Gently used. No scratches. Riley puts this into the seats, foul. But yeah, hey, if it's working, and it clearly is for Martin Perez, part of his routine, why not? Still 0-2. Our Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature. Last 10 here for Austin Riley. 7 ribbies.
He's been seeing the baseball well, reaching base in 8 of those last 10. All good news for Austin Riley. Slight adjustment, get those hands away from the body and try to keep that barrel in the zone longer.
But he falls victim to a McLean slider.
Gets a lot of horizontal movement on this slider, covering a lot of ground. He's also got the sweeper that gets even bigger. We talked about the lefties having a chance tonight. The righties have not had much of one at all. 181 is the batting average for right-handed hitters against McLean this year.
The one hurdle for him at times has been the control, and he does have leadoff walks in back-to-back innings, does Nolan McLean here tonight.
Yeah, but get away from him early on this season. He went his first, was that 8 starts with 2 or less walks, but it was 3 in his last one. He had a 5-walk game, another 4-walk game in there. The question becomes just a matter of, can you avoid chasing, right? Because you're trying to get it started early because of the velocity, because of the live fastball, and then when he puts that cutter, sweeper, slider outside the zone, can you keep the bat on the shoulders?
Ewing over in the gap, 2 away. Back to the top, Drake Baldwin. So first time through the order, no hits for the Braves, but a couple of walks and 1 strikeout for McLean. Looks like he's going to get through 3 unscathed. Lazy fly to Robert to send us to the 4th. Yesterday, the Braves Foundation and some of the Braves' wives hosted girls from Georgia's foster care system for a special day of pampering, each receiving back-to-school essentials, fun items to make them feel loved. And for more info and ways that you can help make a difference, visit GeorgiaKidsBelong.org. GAKidsBelong.org. Pretty cool initiative. Good stuff there.
I'd love to see, it's something important, obviously, to Spencer Strider and what he does, and it's also Spencer Strider vinyl night here, and we certainly do miss seeing him in uniform, but we love seeing what he does, he and his family in the community.
And speaking of some of the pitchers that were out, as Drake Baldwin's going to get a moment here to collect himself. Reynaldo Lopez did throw a bullpen today, so that's encouraging news as he tries to work his way back onto the roster. Fly ball, shallow center, and Harris will grab it.
A.J. Smith-Shawver's on the mound in the minor leagues tonight. 6 punch-outs for him so far. It looks like through 3+ innings and throwing the ball well. Talk about the breaking ball, something that Alex Anthopoulos had brought up. We didn't see it right the start that he had against the New York Mets, where he had stayed mostly 4-seam fastball and split, that live arm that he has, and the velocities look great, but doing a little touch up on the breaking balls as well.
Yeah, sometimes you forget about AJ because you just haven't seen him other than that one time, but that's an arm that could certainly factor in down the stretch depending how all this plays out. High and tight there to Carson Bench, who singled in the second. Ozzie, diving stop. Ozzie from his knee. As the throw gets away from Olson, but it looked like Bench would have been safe either way. Heck of an effort.
Yeah, I think you're right. How about both times here now for Carson Bench, where he's hit a hard ground ball, probably thinking it's ticketed for the outfield, and there's been a diving Braves middle infielder that nearly throws him out, right? It was the Jim Jarvis glove. Play. That ball nearly went through the glove of Ozzie Albies and stayed down when it hit the dirt, but I'm with you. I don't think it would have mattered.
But because he had to poke it back, I think if he doesn't do that, he probably gets him at first.
Which would be amazing, right? If Matt Olson, if the throw was a little bit more in the bag, that would have been twice that he could have been robbed. Instead, he's 2 for 2.
So Ozzie's playing with the webbing of his glove, trying to tighten it up so that that does not happen again. Now Marcus Semien, former teammate of Matt Olson and Sean Murphy with the A's.
And Martin Perez with the Rangers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Guys move around so much in this game.
Well, Matt Olson has talked a lot about his streak now being over 900 games played and how he learned a lot of that from watching Semien when he used to play pretty much every day. Bounces this just foul. But this year he's had a rare injury issue with that hip flexor, and he missed the end of last year with a broken foot. When he went on the IL last year with a broken foot, it was his first IL stint since 2017 for Semien.
Been incredible. He's been a really good player. All those years of playing shortstop, went to the Blue Jays, played second base for a year, had a monster season, and got a big contract with the Texas Rangers, and now traded to the Mets.
He's got a 3-2 count as the cutter misses.
And that little bit of time that he had with the White Sox at the very beginning of his career. A lot of people, myself included, sometimes forget that. You think of him as an A, and that's where he really certainly got established.
And that one also just foul. Very similar to the one he hit a few pitches ago to Riley.
Austin all over these, and this is really close. You can see it hitting chalk, but by the time it got to the bag, just outside of it.
Left center Dubon hustles over. So 2 down with Bench at first base. The last time that Alvarez ran off, for a moment I thought it might have been a joke, but after seeing Perez's face, I'm not sure, but if they're both from Venezuela, I can't imagine there's anything bad there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Martin, you know, if he had a real problem, I think you would know it with a guy. Probably having a little bit of fun there with his fellow countrymen.
Yeah, and I can't imagine him doing something like that seriously, even if he was angry.
Yeah.
He might have barked at him, but a fake bull charge there. It is fun when that changeup is on to see the swings that it induces.
It's got some Bugs Bunny to it for sure, where hitters have a hard time staying back, taking big swings, and missing it by a lot. Oh.
And then he freezes him with a cutter to end the top of the fourth. What a sequence there for Perez.
That really well done. Get some chase away and then get this cutter going the other way to lock up Francisco Alvarez.
Braves Vision is powered by Southern Company. Four members of our crew got to do that tonight. David White, Brent Christan, Drew Jenkins, and Ben Momo out there in the.
Who do you think landed on their head, and did it make them better or worse?
Worse, Momo. But he's got the hair to pat it. First pitch, Acuna flies out to Robert. That wasn't really our crew, but those are four members of our crew that I mentioned. We appreciate them and all of the folks on our crew here tonight.
You know who's not on the crew tonight?
Gretchen Caney.
Enjoying life in Curacao.
Her birthday tomorrow.
Manana, I know she's not going to be here for it, so
yeah.
We're going to push back the celebration.
But we're going to announce it because she doesn't want us to. We love Gretchen. We are excited that she's getting a little bit of a breather. It has been a busy, busy year for her. Olsen popped out back in the first.
I'm feeling that Braves first knock right here.
Yeah, just a couple of walks so far.
Guys, I'm right behind home. Scouting.
Hey, Birdie.
How's that cutter look? That one to Matty that was inside looked pretty filthy.
That is dirty. Here's what he's got going for him, CJ. We talk about this a lot. He's on the right side of the rubber, the third base side. Brandon will let you call that.
Now they're going to get him pretty easily. 2 down.
But it's tough because as a hitter, you have 50 to 150 milliseconds to pick up the ball out of the hand. That's not a lot of time. You got to distinguish where it is, what pitch is it, and how you should swing or if you shouldn't swing. Again, not a lot of time. So if you can delay it as the pitcher and pitch from that side, you're especially effective into lefties and anywhere to righties because it looks like you're throwing it right at them versus the first base side as a righty where you're sort of that pitching machine delivery. When I say pitching machines, you're releasing the ball like they would stack a pitching machine right in the middle of the rubber. So he's very effective. He's got good stuff, a lot of things going for him. And, you know, we got to get on the board because I like our guy on the hill too.
Yeah, what's interesting about that from that side of the play with so much horizontal movement right on the two breaking balls, and I say two, he's got the sweeper, he's got the cutter, which to me is more of a breaking ball, especially his, because it's so big, covering a lot of ground. You also throw the sweeper and the curveball in there as well, and you can see why that is such a difficult challenge when you're facing Nolan McLean.
But Birdie's going to intimidate him back there.
I did. You see this right here, BG? I was informed that we could have a Cracker Jack rally.
I love it.
I know CJ's always talking about food. But we can have a Cracker Jack rally if we can't get anything going. CJ, just tell me when to activate the rally.
I think you need to hang out in section 141 and get the Queen's Deli dog that we had hand delivered today. It's got pastrami, sauerkraut, Swiss, spicy mustard on a hot dog. It's only here while we're playing the New York Mets. So I sampled one today. It was delicious.
Yeah, Chef Jacques and his crew whipped those up, and even Steve Gelb, sideline reporter for the Mets, gave it the best rating of any dog in baseball.
So this is what he's got going on. So it's actually first of all, it's BOGO hot dogs, I believe, throughout this series. Buy one, get one.
We're going to have to put a pin in the hot dog conversation. 1, 2, 3 go the Braves in the bottom of the fourth. And Birdie, what's the Birdman doing? He's a man of the people. Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Truist. No score for the fifth. Good pitching duel here between Perez and McLean. So yeah, wanted to show you what we were talking about though that Chef Jacques brought up. So these are the dogs just for this series. They're unbelievable. So if you're here, if you're coming tomorrow when the Mets take on the Braves for game 3, go and get them in section 141.
I crushed mine pregame. I cannot do a second one because I also had a double burger.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, your arteries are fighting right now. Can of corn for Yaz and right off the bat of Polanco.
I'm a fan of the meat on meat, so pastrami over the hot dog plus sauerkraut. I told you about sauerkraut. That's been making its way into my diet these days. Really good for you. The ferments.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
The smell kind of at times gets me, but I do like it on that dog. Bottom of the order here, and Arias. Well, first pitch out to center. A couple of really quick outs here for Martin Perez. And a quick message from Alpha Insurance.
No matter what life throws your way, we'll be there knocking it out of the park. Getting you back home safe and sound. That's life with Alpha Insurance.
So 2 outs on 4 pitches.
And for Arias, that's 2 pitches he's seen tonight. That's it.
Well, for the first time today, the sun is trying to make a late appearance here at 8:16 local, creating some pretty sky here over Cobb County. It's pretty cloudy all day and quite a few rain showers and storms in the Atlanta area, but the tarp got removed just before first pitch and rain stopped. And what we've had is a really good pitcher's duel on a nice night for baseball.
And a tough break for Mark Bowman, who lost his meteorology card today.
Yeah, he said the game was going to start in a delay.
With confidence.
Yeah.
He said it with confidence.
Ozzie over, bobbles for a second, recovers, and gets him at first. 1, 2, 3, 7-pitch inning. Now Martin Perez, he's got a 17-inning scoreless streak. You boil it down to the last 3 starts, 15 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, somebody maybe his agent needs to get Cool Mint on the phone, start talking about the great success that he has had with the Cool Mint. But he's looked good, and it's just so fun to watch him pitch in the way that he does it. He's an absolute craftsman. Different styles here, right? You got the power right-handed arm of Nolan McLean versus the craftiness and the exceptional command that you get and movement from Martin Perez.
Yeah, you're kind of seeing the 2 different styles, right? You got the 25-year-old with the velo and all the stuff, and then you've got the 35-year-old in Martin Perez. And we use this term a lot, but it fits for him. Crafty, smart, works the edges, and just gets the job done. I think Ozzie just got the job done. Look out of the chop house. Atlanta has the lead.
Advantage lefties when it comes to the power game against Nolan McLean. 95 right down the middle, and Ozzie able to get to it and drop some head and hit a no-doubter here. 386 to right field.
That is the Braves' first hit of the game, and it gives them a 1-0 lead.
You know, it's one thing is kind of Birdie was talking about earlier in the way that you face hitters and the way you approach them and thinking, are there advantageous counts where I can think about getting the head out? That's an 0-2 count, right? You got to be worried about all of those other off-speed pitches, and it makes it more difficult to be on time and kind of fight for your life against the fastball. Not for Ozzie.
Well, he crushed it. 20th of the season for Ozzie Albies. Fifth time in Ozzie's career that he has a 20 home run season. His career high 33 back in 2023.
He's having a night. Been done a really good job in the field, right? A couple of tough balls and really nice double play that we saw Ozzie start earlier in the first inning.
CJ, I don't want to take credit for somebody else's success, especially Ozzie Albies, but the moment he hit that ball, a Queen's Deli dog was placed into my hand in the well.
Seems pretty simple. We know why it happened.
I think it was part of the rally, certainly had something to do with it. And you called me out. I can't let you talk about the Mets sideline reporter doing a hit on one of our dogs.
Yeah.
So well done, Chef Jocko.
Dubon's going to fly out to Ewing here in left. What's the grade on it, Birdie?
I'm getting ready.
Yeah, and Chef Jocko was very honest. He's like, it's a little messy. You're going to get messy, but there's good bites in there. Like, again, I love sauerkraut. You got the pastrami in there on top of the dog. That mustard's a little spicy. That's Swiss cheese. It's a fun dog.
It's going to be a while before I finish this bite.
Yeah.
A+.
How's that piece of cheese hanging on at the end?
You're about to lose a little bit of your real estate over there on the end.
Jesus, fighting for its life.
Liner foul. Yes, almost snuck in a double.
All that piece of cheese is thinking about is, I do not want to end up on the concourse right now on the ground. It's still there.
I'm still chewing the first bite.
Hey, man.
And we're hitting lasers all over the yard.
Got some on your lip there you're saving for later, Birdie.
There we go. That's a sign that something's really, really good. You're chewing, you don't even notice you got it on your face.
That was a Hall of Fame first bite you took.
Look at that piece of Swiss. It's still there. Wish I had that kind of stick-to-itiveness and get after it attitude and refuse to be defeated.
That reminds me when you'd go to the arcade as a kid and you'd play that game where the coins are held by a magnet slot at the end and it looks like they should fall, but they just don't.
Even got a little mustard on my shoe somehow.
Oh, that's all part of the experience.
At least you didn't get it on Glass Hall of Fame number like Wiley did. Was that last year?
That was last year. Yep. Slowly to Simeon. And 2 away after the Ozzie homer.
You heard Birdie talking about Steve Gelbs, who's the sideline reporter for SNY and the New York Mets, and he's got this thing that he does. It's called Gelbs Dogs, and as he makes his way around the league, he'll shoot a little video on the standard kind of hot dog that you can buy at all the ballparks, and he even gets feedback from the New York Mets players, and they rate it. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I will tell you that it happened here at Truist, and the Braves did extremely, extremely well. Now, the video is not posted yet, but it is Gelbs Dogs. That is the website, gelbsdogs.com. And so far, 12 deep.
This one is pretty deep right field, but going foul.
Lucky number 13, though. It's going to end well. Now, I do wonder about the Dodger dog is kind of well known, right? It's one of the better hot dogs, or at least more infamous hot dogs around the league. The Dodger dog got a 1.5 on Gelbs Dogs.
Ooh.
The highest rating so far has been in Cleveland, where they've gotten a 7.8, but rumor is they might be headed to a silver medal after tonight.
Two balls, 2 strikes here to Riley, who struck out in the third. Who's going to take it? Three come together. Twisting. Whoa! Simeon made a great catch in the end. Robert had to dive for the deck. Wow, that was almost dangerous.
Yeah, luckily nobody got hurt here. Marcus Simeon's kind of waiting to get called off aggressively from Luis Robert. It didn't happen. He makes a very nice play.
Ozzie Albies talking about locking in earlier on a zone, saying he's not afraid of a fastball no matter how great it is, but you can't look 8 different pitches, and he would stare at me to let me know, hey.
What'd I tell you?
And Perez just continues to roll along here. 7 pitches in the 5th inning to get a 1-2-3, and then Lindor quickly grounding out here to start the 6th.
I thought Ozzie was asking for maybe a bite of Birdie's hot dog right there.
Pound for pound, he's the strongest guy in the league, and when he stares you down, you get a little nervous.
BG's been on the other side of that stare down a few times with Ozzie.
Yeah, he has a knack for coming up and scaring people when they're not paying any attention, and he does it to me quite often. And as you probably know, I am not a large man, and I get terrified easily, and Ozzie has had a lot of success in that category.
He senses it, right? You sense the ones that maybe get a little bit nervous. Plus, it's the position of being in uniform with us, out of uniform. They're going to have the upper hand to begin with, and he plays that card well, all in good fun.
You know what I like about it, guys, is hitters sometimes are afraid to tell you what their plan is, or afraid to tell you that they're going well because they think they're going to go into a slump. But Ozzie's not. He's like, here's my game plan. Let me help you. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm not scared, and goes out there and proves everything he said. So I liked the stare down.
Yeah, and you will get guys also, I think, just in general in this day and age, because information is flying all over the place, that keep things close to the vest because they get concerned about what gets out, and could another team use that to their advantage against you.
Another great point.
Cutter missing there. So he's had to work around a few walks tonight, has Perez. Free pass there for Bichette. Oh, shattered bat.
That's what happens when you catch it off the very end. Let's take a look here. This is the curveball. He's way out in front, and he has the cupped bat, right? So meaning that it's kind of carved out at the very top. So that lends itself to these kind of breaks when you're going to catch it off the end. Get a sticker on it.
Someone will get it. New piece of lumber for Luis Robert Jr. 0 for 2 tonight. Line drive, base hit out to right center. Bichette's going to turn for third, and they will be at the corners. So the Mets hoping to tie this thing up in the top of the 6th.
Martin got it off the end again. Remember, the first pitch was the curveball. This one was the changeup, and it's going to fade away. But watch where this catches the bat. Right off the very end. Not a lot of exit velocity, and so the soft contact is what allowed Bo Bichette to go first to third so easily.
Mets were 0 for 6 with men on base before that single. And now they've got a chance to score here in the top of the 6th against Perez. Quick word from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
So you think about a first and third situation. Talk about Martin keeping the baseball on the ground. 2 infield hits essentially for Carson Bench that he hit hard. He's a lot tougher to double up because of the speed, because he comes out of that left-handed hitter's batter's box. If anything, you're looking for that weaker pop up that doesn't score the run or even a strikeout. That'd be position A.
Bench trying to help out his old Oklahoma State teammate and now current New York Met teammate. And the pitcher tonight, Nolan McLean. Bouncer. Baldwin able to keep it in front. Both runners stay put.
It's like Didier Fuentes tossing in the Atlanta Braves bullpen. I think part of the reason probably why you saw not just the conference on the mound there with Jeremy Hefner, but also giving Fuentes some time.
Line drive, but he's ahead of it. So now Perez has him in a pretty good spot here. 1-2. Reaches for it. He's got a piece. Two strikeout snipe for Perez. Certainly he would love a third here. Ground ball to second. There's one. There's two. 4-6-3 double play. Perez finds his way out of another jam with a little help from his friends. 9 outs via ground ball, including 2 double plays. None bigger than that 4.63.
The idea that he was able to get that with Carson Bench running made it even more impressive, and a great pitch and a great turn in the middle infield again.
Let's take a look at our Valvoline quick change stats. Bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9. You go back to July 1st. 40 extra base hits for the Braves from that part of the order. That's the most in Major League Baseball.
And that was the story the first couple of months of the season, and it is a story again now for the Atlanta Braves.
A big part of that is Riley being down in either the 7th or 8th spots. Often he has started to produce. Yaz, this guy Jimmy Jarvis as well. Some good stuff from the bottom of the order. Didn't miss by much, but it missed. Charging Simeon. And a sidearm throw, one away. So Nolan McLean still has only given up 1 hit, but that 1 hit is the difference in the game. The Ozzie Albies homer last inning.
And only 2 strikeouts, right? For a guy that is a pretty good strikeout pitcher with a big arm. He's only had 1 start this year where he had 2 strikeouts. It was over 5 innings. It was against the Miami Marlins. But for the most part, you're going to look anywhere from 6 to 9 on average any given night.
Coors Banquet, start your legacy. Most RBI by a catcher in their first 220 career games.
Some good names on there.
Heck yeah. I mean, Piazza, Gary Sanchez, Yogi, and Will Smith. Not the actor, the Dodger catcher.
Yogi was hitting behind some pretty good hitters that were on base quite a bit over the course of his career.
Yeah, that's great company.
And now, of course, Drake Baldwin, who we've seen it a good amount where he's been hitting at the very top of the order, which I think makes it even more impressive, whether he's hitting 1 or 2, which is mostly where we have seen him. Leading off tonight against the righty with Ronald batting second, fewer RBI opportunities. Assume that Martin is done after getting that big out, and Fuentes, who is still standing up in that Braves outfield. Excuse me, bullpen.
Curveball through the back door to freeze Baldwin.
It's a good one. It covers a lot of ground. Look how far outside this baseball is when it comes out of his hand to Birdie's point. He's all the way on the third base side. It's a little bit of a lower arm angle. Came all the way back.
He's had that big arm since he was in high school. He was also an incredible high school quarterback in the Raleigh area of North Carolina. He actually went to Oklahoma State to play both football as a quarterback under Mike Gundy there. But after his freshman season, he decided to focus on baseball. The question was, would he be a pitcher or would he be a hitter? Because he was their best home run hitter as a sophomore at Oklahoma State. But eventually, after getting into the minors and not doing well with the bat, the Mets said, look, your future is on the mound. And I think they made the right decision.
They did. Quickest way to the big leagues. We've seen some really good college hitters and some guys that try to be two-way players that it just does not hold up professionally on the offensive side.
And even though he's pitched pretty well, he's down now 1-0, and his 3-0 pitch, Acuna chases ball 4 and fouls it away.
It's 5 out of the strike zone against Ronald, but again, going back to Birdie's point, this is such a tough pickup for a right-handed hitter and getting a feel for whether or not that ball is going to be on the outside corner or off the plate.
To the net and out of room, Arias, and it's still 3-2. This one in play. Lindor bounces it over to Arias to end the 6th inning. Still 1-0 Bravos. In town, brought to you by your local Ford dealer. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get out here to the park. Braves.com/alumni weekend. So Martin Perez, 6 more shutout innings, 82 pitches, and it is indeed onto the bullpen and Didier Fuentes.
Now, what a great outing it was for Martin, and you set it up the way you want. Always want a little bit more breathing room if you can get it, but Fuentes fresh right now coming out of that bullpen is a nice piece to have.
And you love this. 1 pitch. 1 out. Semien is 0 for 3.
I do think for Fuentes and what he saw with Trent Grisham when he hit that home run in New York, it was a 1-run lead at the time. As you take a look at his overall numbers, his word is getting out. A lot more video now on Fuentes, and I think some of these guys, and Semien tried it, to get out in front of a fastball if you can. And then if you guess wrong, you do that right there as far as Alvarez goes, because he's such a prolific strikeout pitcher. Getting to 2 strikes, not a lot of fun. So you're looking for something early to hunt, and doesn't happen too often. It's only, what, 3 home runs this year, but Trent Grisham was on time for 1.
Oof. Another slider, another bad swing. Hey, stay tuned for the stretch. Brought to you by G&G Georgian Natural Gas with Nick and Pete.
Well, you got to throw another one, right? When a guy shows you that 2 in a row, give him a chance to make the mistake a 3rd time.
They did not go after it. Four straight.
Back of your mind, you're going, okay, is he going to throw the fastball? Is he going to throw the fastball? I thought maybe we would have saw 1-2.
5 sliders, and it works for Fuentes.
It does a great job of getting that one back on the plate. I thought maybe we would see the 4-seamer, but this is just such great location, and I mean, that is just a big angry swing with 2 strikes, and that is where the game has gone these days.
2 outs on just 6 pitches. Polanco at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. Line drive and a quick 7-pitch, top of the 7th for Didier Fuentes, and that takes us to the stretch.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Nick Green and Peter Moylan here with you out in the battery. Peter, the starting rotation has been really good for the Braves. There was a hiccup yesterday with Bryce Elder, but Martin Perez comes back out today. The Braves need a win in Game 2. He slams the door so far.
He sure did, and he relied on some defense tonight as well, but just an outstanding performance once again. He started in the first inning with a double play. Ending wasn't really a sharp inning for him, but getting out of that the way that he did, keeping the pitch limit where he was, and then getting through the rest of the game, it was just outstanding. It is such a pleasure to watch him go about his craft, the way he works his way through at-bats, the way he locates pitches, the way he thinks his way through every at-bat, the way one pitch will set up the very next pitch. It's just so fun to try to play along with him as he dials his way through a lineup.
Yeah, just continues to do great work in this rotation. The Braves currently lead 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Let's get you back out to Braves baseball after a quick word from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com. It's that simple.
So Martin Perez, tremendous. Didier Fuentes, 7 pitches to retire the side in the top of the 7th. And it's still 1-0 Atlanta.
And it might be the only inning for Fuentes, even though he was so efficient. Dylan Lee has already begun tossing in the Braves bullpen. And now you get the fun lefty. We'll see how fun it is for Braves hitters today. It is all energy that you're going to get from Jeffrey Yon. A couple of games pitched in the big leagues. He's struck out a couple, which means he has showed off his vertical at least twice, and this is what we're talking about. This dude is all left-handed right here. Get up and get down. If Michael Jackson was a left-handed pitcher, this is what you would have seen.
So he takes over for McLean after McLean goes 6. And now the interesting lefty who's going to turn 30 next Monday, but as CJ mentioned, just his 3rd big league game. It has been quite a journey. It's one of the reasons that he says he plays with such joy and does that strikeout celebration because he appreciates being on this stage. We'll see how the Braves handle him here tonight.
Hard to believe he hasn't been to the big leagues with a 2-seam fastball that sits at 99 miles an hour, slider, and he's thrown a 4-seamer this year as well.
Matt Olson is our Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life Impact player. Thinking about the season that he has had so far, National League ranks top 2 in all those categories.
You see their 2 best WAR among all first basemen at 3.8. The wins above replacement.
But this has been the issue when he was coming up in the minors, and ultimately will determine whether this guy sticks at the major league level. His command, and he walks Olson on 4 pitches.
Yeah, you look at the walk rate for him throughout that minor league career. 7 seasons, 6.6 walks per 9 innings. League average is about half of that.
Harris shows bunt. It is a strike.
So spent a little bit of time in Japan pitching for the Seibu Lions. Both in the minor leagues and the big leagues back in 2024.
He's from the Dominican. The Angels signed him when he was 16. So he gets to the States, blows out his elbow at 19. Has Tommy John surgery. After recovering, he did not want to return to the Dominican complex for the Angels. And so they put him on the restricted list. So from 2016 to 2020, he did not pitch in minor league baseball. He lived in Arizona. He was working odd jobs. He was roofing houses. He was delivering appliances. And while training at night, just trying to keep his baseball hopes alive, but he wasn't pitching affiliated baseball. He was just hoping to get an opportunity, as Matt Olson's going to get an opportunity to go to second and maybe third. No, ultimately Arias gets to it, and Olson will stop at second base.
That's a great story. I think it gives you an idea too of the journey for a lot of players, as you're going to see this slider get away pretty far from Alvarez, who tried to backhand it. Luckily nobody got hurt there, as they had a little meeting in front of the Braves dugout. But thinking about trying to put yourself in a kid's shoes, right? You sign, you play a couple of years in the Dominican Summer League, you're ready to try to get moving forward. It doesn't happen. There's a great movie, and it's actually, I think, back on Netflix right now, called Sugar, which is kind of follows the story of a young Dominican pitcher. It's a fictional story, but it's really neat and gives you some ideas of what that journey can be like for these young men.
Yeah, at one point, he was pitching in Arizona for a local semi-pro men's league. The team was called the Expendables just because he wanted an opportunity to play competitive baseball. Eventually, the Marlins took a chance on him. As he bounces this, Harris does to first. So that'll move Olson to third. That's a productive out. And now Ozzie coming to the plate. Let's go back to his homer in the 5th.
This is on an 0-2 count and a fastball catching way too much of the plate. And Ozzie hammered it to right field, and he's having himself a night both with the bat and in the field here this evening. But that is a big one. What has been a very tight game. By the way, if you do go watch that movie Sugar on Netflix, do not do it in front of your young children. There's a couple of scenes that are not appropriate for them. But you will enjoy it, I promise.
Let's take a look at our Mercedes-Benz cover every base. Harris, Baldwin, and Ozzie all now with exactly 20 homers.
Good to see with some time to go here, and the charge for maybe a couple of 30 home run hitters to join Matt Olson this season. We see more and more unique defensive alignments in baseball now that we don't have the shift anymore. And I don't know if I've seen this one where Bo Bichette is playing kind of far back. Everybody else is up. And they're doing that and believing that Ozzie could pull the baseball somewhat firmly. And so Bichette wants to give himself a little bit more room to be able to go left, especially a little bit right, and still feeling like he could get Matt Olson.
Yeah, from up here, it looks incredibly odd, just peering straight down at that infield.
I wish I knew more about football alignments, because it seems like there's something there that you might see on a football field more than a baseball field.
So 2 free passes here in the bottom of the 7th, and they are at the corners for Dubon.
No action yet either in that New York Mets bullpen. Dylan Lee is still up in the Braves bullpen and kind of taking his time, and looks like he'd probably come out for the 8th inning. But in the meantime, the Braves are trying to add on.
Justin Willard, pitching coach, knows how just important this situation is. Let's get a word in here from Truist.
Leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist. Learn how knowledge and care can work for you.
Also gives Chase McDermott time to start throwing.
It doesn't really matter as far as Dylan Lee goes when it comes to left right. You do have areas set to lead off. I wonder if it's Fuentes for a hitter and then Dylan Lee. We'll find out.
Right now, Dubon trying to add to this Braves lead. Last night he had RBI number 59 and 60 of the season. To center field. Robert waits. Tagging at third, Olson. Throw to the plate, cut off. Atlanta has 1 hit, but they lead it 2-0.
Funny watching Doobie after he made contact. He immediately looked to third base to make sure Matt Olson was going to tag, and certainly he was going to, and it looks like the New York Mets wondering about whether or not Matt Olson left early. Two-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. Mauricio Dubon catches it a little bit below the barrel, but enough. He had wondered, and there goes Matt Olson tagging up and scoring easily. Luis Roberts got a pretty good arm, but he didn't really get behind that ball completely and properly. I don't think it would have mattered anyway, but he helped out in the position he was in and how he caught it.
And now Lane Thomas is going to hit for Yastrzemski. So a solo homer for Ozzie in the 5th inning. In this inning, a couple of walks, but the Braves able to manufacture that run. So 2-0 with Ozzie over there at first. Did he go? No, and they're going to
call a ball. Catcher's challenging.
They're going to lose their challenges. This has been a tough series for Alvarez in this department. This review is brought to you by T-Mobile.
Call is confirmed.
He came into the series kind of right around just a tick below league average for catchers, but you mentioned it has not been a good one for him.
Now, does Jan do his strikeout celebration in an inning like this? I would imagine so.
I think so. I think for him, and you kind of told the story, right? Why he is as outgoing as he is with his emotions and his actions, and I don't think game situation is going to change that. But let's not find out.
Yeah, hope we don't see it. Lane Thomas trying to avoid it. Again, he did not go, says Andy Fletcher. Just 9 ABs so far as a Brave for Lane Thomas. Awaiting another 3-2. And it's the 3rd walk of the inning.
That's a good walk. 8 pitches. You get a guy with a live arm that you're trying to stay in time on with the fastball, but also got to worry about pitches out of the zone.
Riley coming to the plate, and Andy Green is not going to take any chances. He's going to go to McDermott here. We'll be back in a moment. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. By Xfinity, reliable Wi-Fi at one price. Xfinity, imagine that. And also by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. Ozzieth, his 20th of the year in the 5th. The Braves get another run here in the 7th, hoping for more. And Chase McDermott. So at the deadline, we talked about it yesterday, the Mets trade away 4 of their arms in the bullpen. So there's a lot of inexperience. And another guy here under that category, Chase McDermott.
2 games with the Dodgers this year, and this is now his 2nd game with the New York Mets. Oof.
First pitch, he spikes, and now the runners are going to be at 2nd and 3rd. That cutter was nowhere near.
Straight into the ground in front of home plate, and again for Alvarez trying to backpick that one. Just really difficult to do. He's never been known as a great blocker, but he also hasn't put himself in position on some of these balls in the dirt to block them properly.
So 3rd game as a Met, just his 9th big league game ever here for McDermott. Gets a couple by Riley, 1-2. Riley gives it a ride, pretty deep out to left center. Track wall and caught at the fence by Robert to keep it 2-0 after 7 innings. Ideas.
They made a nice play, 398 feet, but it was loud, 102 miles an hour, and just a good looking swing from Austin Riley, and those hurt a little bit on the inside.
It would have made it 4-0 if it had gotten off the wall, and obviously 5-0 if it would have gotten over the fence, but instead Dylan Lee comes in with a 2-0 lead.
He's been great. 55 games now on the season here for Dylan Lee. Strikeout numbers have been off the charts. The batting average combined just 153.
Lane Thomas stays in the game out in right field for Yastrzemski.
All right, so Arias has swung at 100% of the pitches that he's seen so far tonight, which is a total of 4. Going to make it a perfect night.
Let's see. There it is, but he'll have to see at least one more. 3 fastballs here from Lee. Last one had a little more juice behind it. He swings and he drills it. Harris is going to go back nearly in that same spot that Robert made his catch. Harris makes his.
And we got one of those guys too that's capable of pulling those in, and Dylan Lee didn't like the pitch and the contact, catching too much of the strike zone with his slider in an 0-2 count for a very aggressive swinger.
Well, he stayed perfect. 6 pitches seen, 6 swings for Arias.
I'm going down. I'm going down swinging.
He's 0 for 3.
Two pitches per plate appearance. Even you and I can get that one.
Ewing takes the bunt back, 1-0.
So Ewing must have been number 97 in spring training, because his big picture on the big board has him. Looks like a 97 up there, but once he got called up, he was able to drop the 7.
9 feels a little more big leaguish than 9-7. Debuted back on May 12th, and most of the season's been the everyday center fielder, but not in center tonight. He is striking out tonight, though. A slider from Lee gets him.
All right, so I don't know all my boy band stuff, but they were playing a boy band song as he came up, which I'm thinking was one of the bands that has a AJ in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up.
And then as he struck out, was a boy band tune.
It was Backstreet Boys.
Okay, they gave him the bye bye bye. Was there an AJ in the Backstreet Boys?
I feel like I should know.
No,
this,
you shouldn't. You're good not knowing.
But I don't.
Yeah. Showing a little bit of emotion. Listen,
Boy, a lot of emotion.
A lot of lefties that have struggled against the Dylan Lee slider. Don't beat yourself up.
AJ McLean
was in the Backstreet Boys.
Was in the Backstreet
there
Boys.
We go.
So there you go.
Matthew is on it, man.
Doesn't miss much.
Oh, careful on the iPad. You got that kind of emotion running. Do what Jorge Soler did here a couple of years ago.
That'll come right out of the paycheck. This guy's got a pretty big paycheck. Francisco Lindor. High fly ball. Drifting back. Dubon finds it. Dubon has it. It is 2-0 Atlanta as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Kia Field Report with Paul Bird.
No, you got it. Talking to Walt Weiss earlier today, giving certain things that have to happen if you're going to have a winning season. He said you got to win one-run games. He said you got to be able to come back a lot during the season. You have to have a good bullpen. And then he said you have to have unsung heroes. I said, who's at the top of that list for the unsung hero category? He said pitcher Martin Perez. Guys.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Yep, I would agree. And quite honestly, there's a couple of candidates, right? And I think it's a fair question when you start trying to put a list together for Walt. There's no doubt that there was a couple of names that come to mind. But I think for Martin, first of all, everything he kind of went through, and not sure if he was going to make this team at the end of spring training. Any team could have taken him, and he stayed with us here, the Atlanta Braves, and he's done everything Walt has asked him to do without any complaints. Go in the bullpen, right? Got designated early. He got designated once, didn't he? I believe early on. I can't remember if he got taken off the roster. It seems so long ago, but he's stuck with the organization, whether it be in the bullpen or in the rotation, with zero complaining.
Strikeout here for Jarvis.
And you're right, CJ. Walt talked about that. There's other candidates on that list. Mauricio Dubon, the glue guy. He holds it all together. He's gone everywhere as utility man, having a great year. We mention him a lot. But it's exactly what you said. He just said Martin coming off injury and his age. You didn't know if he was going to even pitch one inning for the Braves. You knew Mauricio was going to break camp with the team. So it's just been highly improbable and just a wonderful surprise. Him starting on short rest. The intangibles that all the young guys see on that pitching staff, the way a veteran goes about his business, is unmatched.
What was it, like 45, 50-minute that he was let know, right, when Lopez got hurt, that he was going to pitch in that game? Maybe an hour on the high end, but not a lot of time. He was a free agent a couple of weeks into the season when he had gotten designated and signed back, and we are extremely grateful that he did.
CJ, he'd already long tossed hour and a half before he started. Shut her down. I don't know if he ate one of those hot dogs I tried to eat earlier, but he did already eat. And then he jumped off the couch. They said, hey, we can give you a couple hours, start a reliever, you know, kind of an opener. You can come in later. You can rest, get your arm ready, get your treatment. He said, give me the ball. I got this. Took the ball out of their hands. Pitched masterfully.
Boy, he did. That was the game where he was throwing a no-hitter through 6 2/3, went 7, gave up just the 1 hit, and now he's got a streak of 18 scoreless innings going after his masterpiece tonight. Baldwin will take his base, 1-out walk. Here's a message from Zaxby's.
Think chicken bacon ranch is all the same? This is Zaxby's. Think again. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
2-0 ball game. You know who's getting ready for Atlanta? Raisel Iglesias. So the Braves still with 1 hit. We'll see if they get more here in the 8th, but the last time that a team won a Major League Baseball game with 1 or fewer hits was Pittsburgh in May of 22. It was a very bizarre game where Pittsburgh actually had 0 hits but beat the Cincinnati Reds 1-0. But the Braves up 2-0 right now on just that single hit.
So the Reds were not celebrating their no-hitter.
Yeah, how about that? It's only the 6th time that's ever happened in baseball where a team has won while being no-hit.
Hey guys, I'm sitting in my office right here. Victoria Rossman right next to me. Braves social media. Yeah, you're on camera. I just want to let you know that she knew AJ was in the Backstreet Boys and didn't even have to look at her phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
the upside of being young.
Yeah.
You know stuff.
She's much younger and much hipper than CJ or myself. And I'm going to throw you in that category. Bertie, you're hipper than us, but you're not as hip as Victoria is.
No, no chance.
No.
I'm good at the 80s stuff, you know, mix in some late 70s questions.
We get Bertie a placard for that office.
Need to get him something.
Right here?
Right? Yeah, it sits right on the desk. This is just with your name. Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. It's my new locker room, my office. Everything wrapped up into one. Gets a little hot during day games. But I'm tough, you know, no bathroom, no AC.
You overcome. Acuna got underneath this ball. Robert Campson takes.
And knowing Bertie the way that we do, I would assume that his office, his locker, always Just neat as could be. Everything in line exactly where you need it. Is that accurate?
No, no. They say geniuses, you know, they can't find their car keys, but they know where all the stuff they need is. So that's me. At least that's what I tell myself.
No, that's true. That's how Einstein was. He couldn't even find the notes on his desk.
There you go.
A walk in 3 trips tonight for Matt.